Hey, welcome back to Vice Grip Garage. I'm down in Bradenton, Florida, behind the Freedom Factory, where I'm picking up this 1969 AMC Rebel from Cletus McFarland. Now, this car in its own right is extremely rare, especially in this condition, but this one is a one of one because where the front seat normally is, that's where the engine is. That's right, it's a mid-engine car. I'm gonna see if I can get this thing fired up and drive it 800 miles home. Which should be fine because I know absolutely nothing about AMCs. Great. Did you know that the first American Motors Corporation company name was developed by Lewis Chevrolet? Yep, 1916 to 1922 or thereabouts. Of course, he went on to develop Chevrolet, the giant that we know today. Anywho, there's 11 of you, no, 13 of you now, that want a little bit of history on AMC because a lot of folks just aren't that familiar with it. In 1954, Nash and Hudson merged together to make American Motors Corporation, or AMC. And at the time, it was one of the largest mergers ever. Had like 355 million in working capital, which is insane, and made them the fourth largest automobile maker overnight. Now, unfortunately, the company was just riddled with random leadership and lots of changes. Their first CEO, in fact, unfortunately and unexpectedly passed away almost immediately after the merger. Their second CEO, I think, resigned and became a governor or something, and that trend kind of just continued. They were wildly successful in the 50s and 60s. Then they started getting into some trouble, you know. Eventually, they reached out to Renault, which is a French company, and said, hey, we need a little bit of help over here. We're drowning. Renault injected $150 million, plus a bunch of other stuff, and they ended up owning a little over 20% of AMC at that time. Fast forward, things just aren't really getting better. The government threw a couple bones to AMC to build some transit buses and some other things, but they still weren't doing good financially, and they were losing 70 to 90 million a year. And they kept reaching out to Renault for cash injections. Well, fast forward to the late 70s, early 80s, Renault ended up owning 49% of AMC, and they were still making plans to have Renault own as much as 59% of the company, which of course had consumers going, wait a minute, I thought this was an American-owned company, right? So that didn't help sales much. Plus, that's when we saw in the mid-80s things like the Eagle Premier. If you've never seen one, I hope you don't. And that was kind of that French styling coming through in the company, because at that point, well, they could do what they wanted to. Eventually, Renault started struggling on their own. They lost their position as the #1 automobile maker in the early 80s over the pond, you know. And they said, enough's enough. We're gonna sell the 49% that we own. Chrysler was right there. They wanted the Jeep brand. So Chrysler said, I'll not only buy the 49%, but I'll buy the whole kit and caboodle. AMC said, yep, let's do that. So fast forward, I think in 1990, officially, the merger was complete. AMC was completely shuttered and just basically rebranded as the Jeep brand under the Chrysler wing. There are a couple factories still making trinkets and stuff like that from AMC for Chrysler, obviously. But other than that, they've all but disappeared. The Rebel was kind of a muscle car era, AMX. There was a few other ones. Gremlin, Javelin, I don't know. They didn't sell very good, although neat. With the Rebel here, of course, the famous one is the 1970 with the red, white, and blue paint. This is a 69, very, very similar in styling. Actually, really nice looking cars, similar to like a GMA body, for example, Chevelle, Monte Carlo. But let's take a walk around this one, see what we got going on. So some of you fellers might recognize this car. Matt from Demolition Ranch actually originally bought this, and then somehow Cletus ended up with it. So I have seen this run. I think it was January of last year. Maybe it was January of this year. But I am told as of right now, it does not run. We'll have to figure out why. At first glance, this thing is really solid. I don't see any rust anywhere in this car. I mean, really solid. Not even bubbling paint. Nice looking car. Pretty cool styling features. How they brought this out into the bumper. This is probably the worst of the body, because they just pop riveted some sort of like HVAC metal or something into there. Missing some stuff here. Not even any dents. This side is just as straight as well. It's kind of a matte finish. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was a botched paint job of whoever put this thing together. I like these door handles. Oh, that one doesn't work. Nice styled front end here. Well, let's see what we got in the trunk. I always like to start back here. If a guy finds head gaskets or a WP or something. Whoa. There you can see the pop riveted stuff. Okay, well, that is a fuel tank. Oh, 15 gallon. See that? This must be the propelator for the trunk. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, it's got a never start in it. Okay. Oh, what that is. Fuel line laying here. Have to check that out. Some sort of custom shock bracketry. She's obviously really lowered and homemade-ish. So the ride quality, you know, that should be really good. No rust in here either. There you can see there. But solid car. It's really solid. Oh, here's some damage. I don't know how I walked right past that. Ooh, it's got dual pipe relators. All right. It's got an LP from Texas. That ought to get us home, you know. Here, 69. Taking a wild guess, we're gonna need this thing. Got the smallest hood pins I've ever seen. Wow, you stubborn little devil. Missing the washer on this side. Yep. So if you take the trunk propelator and turn her upside down, she's now a hood propelator. Okay. Although I knew there was no engine here, I still was not expecting it to look like this. What is going on with the shocks? Oh, great. Don't see that every day. Look at the cooling pipes. Homemade shock things. That would suggest that the wiper motor actually works. Oh, nice. Compression fittings on the stopulators. Great. Look at the steering rod. Oh, great. Look at that. Tires aren't turning, but tons of slop in the steering. This is going to be one sketchy ride if this thing runs. Aluminum rad. No juice. Digital fans. Is there a relay? Nope. Must just be a switch maybe. Not sure. Well, let's take a look at the engine setup here. Whoa. Smells like a flooded basement and burnt avocado. It's really, really moist in here. Inside of the ceiling is wet. Whew. Wow. This is why this thing is so unique. I just can't believe it, but I guess I got to. I'm looking at it. That is an AMC motor, for sure. Get to that in a minute. What? Oh, dimmer switch. Okay. I guess you got a reach up here if you want to dim. Little fuse block. Wiring looks top notch. Okay. Oh, there's that steering wheel slot. That'll be great down the highway. That looks like a Jeep. Speedometer, 59 miles. So what I was told was, feller always wanted a mid-engine AMC, so we made it. And once it was done, he was like, nope, don't want it. So maybe he put 59 miles on it and just was over it, or maybe he realized it was a death trap, or I'm not sure what was going on. Look at the rear seats. Actually, the front seats where the rear seats should be. And the steering wheel is basically where the back of the front seat would be. Pretty wild. Got some toggles. We got keyage. Dead battery. That's weird. We'll have to figure out what all those switches do. Oh, we got an emergency brake. That'll probably never come off. Pretty wild rig. Look at all the moisture in this thing. I was just sitting here thinking, the old carbon monoxide is probably going to be a really, really big issue. I mean, the engine's in your lap. All of the exhaust fumes and everything are clearly going to go into the cabin. There's no way the manifold doesn't leak or the manifold biscuits. Floor is wide open. I just don't see how we're going to survive in this thing. But, you know, we'll give her a shot. Anyway, let's see if we can figure out what engine and transmission we got going on here. Keep forgetting I can't get in the other door. One thing I noticed right away is the intake here seems to have some sort of heat soakalizer, homemade 2 to 4 barrel conversion type thing. That's clearly homemade. So this would have came with the 2 barrel. I'm gonna say this is probably a 343 or a 327 AMC, and it was their own engine line, not to be confused with the GM, although they did use the GM HEI, just a different gear and some other stuff. But we probably won't be able to tell until we could jack it up, and on the side of the block down here there should be a stamping and we can figure it out then. Unique exhaust port design here. See, there's only 3. Had Siamese exhaust ports right here. 2 of them came together, and that's going to be your limitations on the horse torques right there at these units. Now the transmission, you can see here we've got a TV cable slash kickdown, kind of similar to the 700 R4, and that runs down right here. That's most likely a Borg Warner M11, which is the later version or modified M8. It's going to be a 3-speed automatic, but there should be a plate on the side of that too. We got to get this thing up in the air to double check that. But the 327s also went into the Jeeps, I think 65 to 67, something like that. So fairly commonish. Ooh, look at this. That coil is popped, completely just boiled over. That is probably the reason she's not running, or could be one of many, but it's all there. I don't see anything missing, so that's good news. Is that a seat belt holding the, what is, okay, that is in fact a seat belt. Okay, Flexi-mount. It only holds when the motor rolls. Nice. Since the guy flew in, I'm working with really limited tools here, but I did stop by Hobo Freight late last night and grabbed on the bare necessities. Got me one of them master tool kits. Jack. Forgot the jack stand, so I'm gonna go try to find me an OSHA approved jack stand somewhere around here. Hey, these tires look pretty decent. Is this already off the ground? We haven't even done nothing yet. Oh boy. I bet the ride quality is superb in this. I don't know how much higher I should go here, but I gotta get my belly under there, you know? This looks wrong. You're never going to believe this, but I found a Crown Vic wheel laying around here. That's weird. And before you say this is unsafe, there's about 17,384,912 cars sitting on these right now in salvage yards that haven't moved an inch in 36 years. Oh yeah. Okay. Need an air compressor or something. Get all these rocks out of the way. Oh, your mouth makes wind. Huh. Okay. Changed my configuration to some rotten squishy wood over said Crown Vic wheel. Seems to be working just fine. So, unfortunately, I could not see a casting number under here. I did see this Fram filter, which we're going to have to get out immediately. And then this back here is an M10 Flash-O-Matic automatic transmission. Plus, we've got chrome pannage. So that's basically equal to a shift kit. And this is about 19 horsepower there. So that's good. Also, the motor mounts, you know, all of this is fine. Ignore that and the seat belt and whatever that is and that thing back there as well. We're just going to pretend that we didn't see, you know, any of this stuff, basically. Well, the M10 Flash-O-Matic was only built in 65 and 66, and the numbers on the transmission lead me to believe it's a 65. Now, the Rebel was built from 67, was a Rambler that year, to 70. So my guess based on the M10 is that the engine and transmission came as a pair and probably came out of a Jeep Wagoneer. So we're looking at a 327 with an M10. I'm sure he just had this nice body and just did a transplant, which that's fine. 327's great little engine. The Flash-O-Matics, pretty tough. As long as the TV cable's adjusted right, we'll be just fine. Well, let's get the rig back on the ground, throw a hot battery in the trunk, get this thing rolling over, which I think is going to happen just fine. Then we can replace that ignition coil, see if we can get this thing to bark off and make some noise. Then we can move on to changing on the oil and dolling this thing up for a road trip. Get on out of here. Oh, okay. Well, what is this now? Got some sort of, well, for Pete's sake, what kind of Mickey Mouse? Yeah. Trunk seems to seal up pretty good. Now, when a guy's running these mid-engine AMCs, you got to go with a very specific battery. That's one with the go handle on her. Yep. So, yeah. Completely guessed on posts, and once you know it, got them backwards. That's fine. That's got to be like a 78-mile long positive battery cable. But the sad one just runs through this hydraulic line underneath the car somewhere. I'm just gonna pretend that it's a nice, good, solid ground and not look under there at this point. Yeah. Gonna have to grab a new clamp later. That one's split, but maybe for now it'll bite in good enough. I'm gonna try the lights out. This one looks, yeah, that's lights there. See if we got any. See a side marker? Oh, nice. Okay, we got headlights. That's great news because guy can run under the cloak of darkness, you know, if he needs to. Tails. Yep. Okay, we got tails and headlights. So that's really good news. Let's see if this thing actually turns over. Whoa. Oh. Okay, that's a little sketchy. Hopefully it's in park. Oh yeah. All right, that's fantastic news. Everything's good there. So now, I already know this ignition coil is bad, so I'm gonna replace on this. We'll figure out the fuel system here. Wonder if it's got any gas in it. Oh. No. That is completely empty. Yep. Great. Well, I guess I'm gonna jump in the rental here. Chevy Sparks. 18 bucks a day. Shoot down, get a gas jug, fill that up with 81 octane or whatever the least available octane is. Grab a battery clampulator, oil filtre, ignition coil, maybe some sparkulators. Now I know what kind of engines we're working with, and then we'll get back on it. Street tacos. That's what I have for lunch. These AMCs require a special tool for the oil pan plug stopper upper, croissant wrench. With any luck, we'll round that off, and this will be the last oil change. Oil doesn't look all that terrible. Don't smell any fuel. 1030. No antifreeze in it, so that's good. This thing, for whatever reason, was torqued to just all of it. Strained my Toyota Tacomas over here getting it off. Dump that out. What we're looking for is bones, Legos, CB radio, mostly metal, you know, but it's looking pretty good. I'd say the old engine's pretty healthy actually, which is fantastic news. By the way, I just talked to Matt, Demolition Ranch, and he agreed that this is the worst idea probably ever. Also, there's no title to the vehicle, so that's fine. We'll just pretend I didn't hear him say that. Got old oil on my eyelid somehow. Today's flavor of oil is good old Shell Rotella T4 heavy duty diesel oil. It's got all the vitamins and minerals you need. And then for the 5th quart, I'm gonna go with this oil stabilizer. It's got a flag and checkered flag. Also says oil alone is not enough. So heating directions, okay, we'll use that. And then of course, Wex filter. Don't forget to write the date and or the mileage. Saves the next guy. One of these days, I'm gonna get a sticker. I just know it. Well, that's where the oil is supposed to go in. So how does that work? I've never dumped oil in the floorboards of the front there, except for that time at Roger Vesey's farm. That's a story for another day. I guess we'll take the air filtration system off, dump 2.5 quarts on the front here, so that smokes really good, you know, and then the rest will maybe get in there. Okay. Yep. Ouch. Oh, what is that thing? Okay. I can't see anything. Is it going in? I don't know. You guys tell me, I guess. Oh, thankfully we've got a bog quad on here, so that definitely won't get us home. I can't see if this is even going in that thing. I don't know. Just keep going, I guess. What if I come from this direction? Oh, everything's so pokey on this. Oh, there goes a gallon. There is legitimately some sort of creature in those trees that sounds like an alien. Making me a little nervous, not gonna lie. This is definitely this thing's last oil change. This is not, can't do this again. These sparkulators look really fresh. Champions. I would guess that they've only got 59 miles on them based on the audio meter, but I don't know. Might as well pop one out, just take a peek at it and see what we got. Really wish Pittsburgh would stop putting their 13/16 on the 1/2-inch ratchet. It's gonna cause you, it's gonna give you trouble, is what I'm saying. Well, how in the devil, there we go. We got a cord wrapped up in here now. What do you even do? I just take this off. Well, that's a temperature wire, so why do we have that? What is that doing? Oh, great. Never see that again. Ah! I'm seeing it again. Oh, she's running richer than Oprah. What does this line on here mean? Got a line down the whole thing and a number 5. I don't know. Why I'm asking you. That's fine. What is this? What does that mean? I don't know. I think we're gonna save some money. Just stick this back in and pretend we didn't see that. Seats look pretty nice, actually. Got rear window cranks even. Is this wood? It is. I'll be dipped. No. Foam board. Custom rig. Just in case you're wondering how sturdy this rig is and what this seat is sitting on, well, you know, it's all just very taut, thick metal. And yeah, that's the ground through there. So, ankle vent. You know, you got to get some fresh air injection for all the carbon monoxide is going to be shooting. And to be sure, that fan is just going to blow it right in here for you. So that's good. Maybe we kick the rear window out. No, can't. It's too good. Taking out the coil here, got the leaning on the steering shaft, and she flexed like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And got to looking at it, and this is just metal conduit that you commonly see run in your commercial buildings like Walmart and whatnot. And electricians use it to run THN wire through, or stranded wire. So that's fine, you know, don't see an issue there at all. This ignition coil is bad because of the way that it is. But also the top's not supposed to be deformed, nor should you be able to shake it and hear the contents and dump oil out of it. I've seen this 437 times. Key accidentally gets left on, energizes the coil for 9 days until the battery finally goes dead. This little guy overheats, boils, oil's got to go somewhere, pops the top. But we'll go ahead and run the digital meter across her. This is my good unit, $8 from Hobo Freight. Spin her down to the 200 horseshoe mode, and we're going to run this across the primary windings, which is the 2 posts out here. Should be between 2 and 5, depending on your rig. What do we got? 1.9. Get you home. Primary winding is good. Secondary winding, it's going to be shot. Twist this up to 20,000 K, because we're expecting 15 to 20, again, depending on your setup. Nothing. So there we go. Diagnosis correct. This guy, bad. I did pick up a new one. We went to the Hardmore store, so I'll throw that in quick. Boo! Power down. Are we making any progress, you ask? That means maybe. Feels like it. I got some gas here. I think it's like 85 octanes or something. 5 gallons. We'll shoot that in. I guess it's time we crank on it. See if we can get this thing to make some noise. Well, I saw the Bluetooth fuel lines up here, and then I saw this fuel line, the fill tray on it, but that just swoops around into there. And then I noticed the factory fuel inlet delete right here. So she's been converted to a sump. So guy got the wallering around down here. I'll be dipped. Some sort of brass water line compression fitting that's swung over into a fill tray, into a digital clicky clacker that runs up through some rubber hose right through the frame. And this is where the SAD cable hooks up. Got some tread on the tire there, so that's good. So now we got to figure out which switch fires that guy up. Still don't know what that creature is. Every time I turn around and buy a gas jug, it's got some different sort of nozzle on. I had to push forward. I don't know. There we go. Maybe? Yeah, that seems to be doing something. This should be enough to get her fired up, hopefully, and maybe make it to a fuel station. Nope. There's none out here. Definitely going to run out. Get this clamp changed right quick, and then we should be ready to twist on the ignition stick there. That reminds me, I sure miss Vern Gosden. Such a good voice. Okay, get on in there. One would assume the key's got to be on and there's a relay for all this, but I'm hoping it's ghetto enough that it doesn't. Battery's hot. We'll start up here. Oh, okay, we got horns. What was that? Oh, there's a fan up there. Must have had some leaves in it or something. Didn't sound good. Fans again. Oh no, wait, that's the other fan. Okay, we got independent fans. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's fuel pump. Sounds very not healthy, so that's good. Tone isn't changing. I feel pressure though. Well, I don't know, let's see if we can get this thing to fire. It just fired just like that. By the way, the choke's not hooked up. There it goes. Idling. Lots of valve train noise. Not smoking. Sounds pretty good. Boy, it's knocking bad. Ooh. It is not building oil pressure. I'm gonna let it just idle. If it has oil pressure, it's very, very low. It's not building it quickly. I don't want to rev on it until we can hear those lifters quiet down just a tickle. They're pretty rackety. I like these cheap turbo mufflers though. I'm guessing that's not actually muffler pipe. That looks more like fence post. That's fine. How about now? A little better. This just looks so wrong. Well, the great news is she runs. The not so great news is the valve train's banging away like a high school marching band. Yeah, it'll come out of it. Probably not. I'm going to clean up in front and behind here, and I'll jump in and see if we can go through the gears, see if we got a transmission. I pulled the blood stick on her and it looked maroonish-ish. It only smells like burnt hair, so that's fine. We might have to put some rebuild in a bottle in that. But these here M8s, M10s, M11s, virtually indestructible. So I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. Plus with the new galvanized steering rod and everything else this rig offers, I think we're just going to be easing down the road. So I don't think there's going to be any hard downshifts or 1-2s or anything like that. Anyway, what did I just say we were going to do? Whatever it was, that's what we're doing now. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, everything is just bending and crunching. Okay, I got the choke wired open with a choke remover 200, also known as a zip tie. This is extremely uncomfortable. Also, I'm looking out the back window. Let's see if it starts with no choke. Oh yeah. Brake pedal? I don't know if it's doing anything. Reverse? And oh, I got e-brakes on. Does that work? No, it does. Whoa, we got brakes? I'll be dipped. Neutralis? Really gutless, so that's good. Reverse. I don't know what that noise is, so stop it. Forwardage. Yep, no power steering, of course. Only does that in reverse. Maybe this just ignore reverse. It seems that I have a fuel gauge actually. Finally starting to build oil pressure. The exhaust fumes are, I don't see how this is gonna work. Maybe that's what this is for. Get out of here. No, definitely not. How do you get out then? This way? Okay. Yep. I don't understand. This doesn't seem right. Okay. Piece of cake. Well, these fence posts sure make music to my ears. Sounds good. I'm gonna make sure she's charged late in here. Hook the digital meter on. What do we got? What do we got? 14, 12? Yep, she's charging. I got her loaded up too. You always want to load it as best as you can before you check on it. So I got fuel pump later running that's definitely dying, and also both cooling fans running. So I think we're good there. I was sitting here thinking, I got a test on this some way, and then it dawned on me, there's a 3/8 asphalt track right here. The Highway Patrol and Sheriff's Office appear to be doing some training right here in the middle. So what you want to do with these unregistered and licensed vehicles is just keep circling them, you know. Here we go. Oh, we're just a little delayed on the shift. Oh, the steering is really good. Nope, it's horrible. There's zero suspension. Back end is really wobbly. I don't know why, but I feel like Dale Earnhardt. Well, we're up to 30. I don't know why, but the speedometer works. Also, the fumes are really bad.
AMC on the move.
I think it needs a little bit of timing. That noise is the whole body flexing.
Looks good.
Oh. Brake steers to the right. That's good enough. It runs and drives. Oh, slow down, slow down, slow down. Oh. The fumes are so bad in here. I like it. Well, according to the odometer there, the guy's got 1.2 miles on it now. Surely that's enough of a test run. We've only got 800 more to go. So I'm gonna load up the rest of my tools. drop my rental off, get a taxi cab back here, and then, you know, we got some ground to make up. So we're just gonna jam this thing on the highway and see how bad the steering really is at 80. No, maybe we'll start at 75. That's a plan. Where did everything go? At this point, I'm almost a Pittsburgh tool dealer. Got enough of these to open a retail store. There we go. We're gonna try to make it to a Flying J travel center. It's only 47 miles, but avoiding highways, it's an hour and 32 minutes. And that should be a good first test for this thing. And then I can get some supplies there, you know? It is so hot in here. The heat from the engine plus all the fans. This is the most dangerous car I've driven, and that says a lot. I don't have third gear. Nice thing is I can check on the cable right here. Also, I really hope that fan and the belts don't come apart, because the old smile maker's just gonna get some. This is, without a doubt, the most miserable, unsafe, fantastic vehicle I have ever operated in my life. It has somehow surpassed the independent Chevelle, which didn't have a frame, amongst other things. Didn't make it far. Very, what's the word? Nauseous? That's it. Learning quite a bit about the rig. Severe oil leak in the front of the intake and the rear of the intake, and the fan that's not needed, and I should have taken off, is blowing all the oil down onto the exhaust. There's also a massive oil leak somewhere underneath, and basically what happens is all of that burns off and the cabin just fills with smoke. I probably look like Snoop Dogg just cruising down the road, except it just makes you want to vomit, really, mostly. Also found out that when getting in and out, if you lean too hard right here, it'll actually shift it into reverse or neutral, and the car rolls away. So That's fine. About 60 is top speed. That's when it sounds like the rocker arms are about to go through the roof. It's going to be a long trip. This is probably the dumbest thing I've done in a long time. Picked up some necessities. I got some ramps. We can throw these under the front now. Hopefully I can get up on them, see what's going on with the oil leak. Picked up a steering wheel cover because that one's falling apart, and a fire extinguisher. I don't know why I would get one of them. Well, here's some oil splatters, it looks like. That seems whatever. So I'm gonna get this up on these and we'll see if we can figure out what this oil leak is. I think that's it. 3rd degree burn. Couldn't really see much. There's a little filter standoff housing attachment where the oil filter attaches and houses. It might be leaking there in the block. What in the devil is this racket? I tightened that till my forearm popped. I can only get to 2 of the 3 bolts because one's hidden behind the manifold at 640 degrees Celsius. And I also over torqued the oil filter on, which wasn't the issue, but it made me feel better that something felt loose even though it wasn't. So now I'm going to clean up the oil that's running down the intake valley pan thing there. Dab some of that off, but that issue is, although not mechanically that big of a deal, the smoke that rolls through here, I'm surprised it doesn't come out more. It's really odd. Also, this got so hot that the tape melted off. It gets like, you can't touch it going down the road, which is great because, you know, your legs are supposed to go there. So I've been driving with my left foot, crossing my right leg under here and jamming it under the brake pedal so you can't use the brake pedal. But that's just the way it goes, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna load back up and see if we can make it the other half of the way to our first stop. Got some really bad pizza, something to drink. Oil leak is still, it's leaking bad. The good news is there's lots of storage in here. Sun's starting to go down, which is going to be great because it is terribly hot in here. And it's getting about 13.5 miles to the gallon. And the fuel gauge seems to be accurate, which I think that's a first for me in a long time, actually. So I'm gonna find some back roads and just keep on scooting nice and slow. Hopefully I can run 45, 55 because it doesn't want to go, basically 60 sounds terrible. So there's that. Anyway, let's see if we can put some miles down. Morning, 7,000,000, 9 or 12 early o'clock. I got updates. It's pouring rain outside, which is fine when 82.9% of your floor is gone and you need to drive with all the windows down so you don't die from carbon monoxide. Even though I drove till 1 a.m. this morning, didn't get very far because I had to stop every 22 feet to wipe the oil splatter from the inside of the windshield and also my face and my lungs and my soul. Eyes are still burning, legs hurt bad, huge headache, so everything is fine. The only way I can explain it is sticking your face into the exhaust pipe of an engine at 3,000 RPM, and in front of that a feller's sprinkling used oil into a campfire and also into a box fan at the same time, and in front of that there's 25 hair dryers on high heat just pointed right into your eyeballs. It's what I would imagine working in the engine room of the Titanic feels like. What you're watching, fellers, I've done hundreds and hundreds of times over the last 20 years, but this is the most miserable, terrible, uncomfortable vehicle I've ever operated, and in its current state should not be driven. So anyway, we've got like 500 miles to go today, but there's a couple things that I want to do to the rig before we take off. I think I'm going to take an Uber down to Walmart. Got to try to find a rain suit or something, get a couple other goodies, and then we're just going to flop around in the rain, I guess, try to get this thing ready, and then drive wet all the way to Tennessee with no heat. Sounds perfect. Change of plans. Apparently they don't have ride services in towns of 1,200. I don't know how this works, okay? I just thought you press the button and Bob would show up on the way to Sanix to get diesel. I don't know. So we're gonna try to ease the car down to Quality World as slow as possible so my legs only get half soaked, and then we'll do some shopping. So here's what this looks like. See the seat, all the oil splatter and the door panel and the roof. See how that seat's clean? Yeah, that's because it went into my teeth basically. And also the door panel over there, and that portion of the window is slightly clean, but this is what most of it looks like. It's hard to tell with the rain on it, but it's just completely oil covered. And I was wrapping rags on stuff and jamming towels in here and you name it, but I gotta try to fix that today, big time. Also the fan, let's go ahead and take that off. You know how you can judge your speed in a vehicle where the speedometer doesn't quite work based on the RPMs? Well, I could do that with the fan blade pitch. There was basically, you're gonna die in death, but we don't need that. It's not doing anything. So let's get that off of there, and we could drop about 180 decibels and also pick up about 22.7 horsepower torques from the parasitic drag there. It wasn't getting warm last night, which is great, and there towards the end I was running her hard because I was just ready to get in. Ooh, Red Bull. How did I miss this one? I don't know. Now this is water, and this is going to be part of the issue today. Is it's just wide open, so as we're going down the road it's just going to be water mist in here. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work. This, however, is 57 quarts of oil that is just coming through the safety barrier. That ought to stop the flywheel and transmission parts. And I'm pretty sure it's this flange coming off of the block where the oil filter filters and does the stuff over there. So we're going to take a peek at that. Had to stop, put oil in every 9 feet. It's still got, well, we can add a little bit. Cold start. Well, that ain't bad. Wipers actually work. I'll be damned. Rolled right across the street to an O'Reilly. The transmission didn't want a transmission this morning. She's out of juice. Don't know where that went. It had some in it. Also, fogging of the windshield is going to be a huge issue today as well. I'm gonna grab some anti-fog stuff and some Rain-X and some windshield washer juice sprayway stuff. Try to get the visibility up a little bit, and grab some shift juice and some hardware, and I don't know, we'll just cruise around a little bit, see what we can find. Applied the Rain-X outside and also used the anti-fog in here. That'll probably do nothing. Put a quart of oil in it, and I also put in some Blue Devil rear main sealer, because basically what that's going to do is any gasket it touches, it's going to swell it up. And I'm hoping that slows down or stops the intake leak, because that's just running down and running off onto the manifolds. Redid this up professionally instead of using paper towels. Also strategically placed those throughout the engine, hopefully slow that down. I also rebuilt the clutches in the transmission there, and you just do that by pouring this stuff in and pray it's almost down there. Little trick here, guys: pour a little bit of additive in this, shake it up real good, and then you can just launch it in there and you don't have to wait forever. Well, I think we got everything we need here. We'll just scoot down to Wally World, get some more stuff, and get to work. I can really customize on a rig at the Wally World, and I ain't kidding you. Look at this active monitoring system we got now. Carbon monoxide really isn't anything to play with, and this will give me an alarm. It flashes, plus it gives a live readout, so that's pretty cool. Picked up a power drill just in case. Hyper tough. These are really good. No, they're terrible. Also got a tarp. We're going to use that in a minute, and then a full rain suit, because it's going to get really bad here in a little bit. Looking at the forecast, it's pretty much off and on rain the whole way. Great. Speaking of rain, we got to do some work, and I got an idea here where we can get a little bit of shelter and get some work done without getting all wet. There, that's a lot better. Saw this place across the street from the motel, dialed up the number and asked the guy if I could work under the, what is this called? Shop. Storage, lean-to, bin thing, buildings. Anyway, he said yeah, really nice guy. So where we're gonna start is, let's get this fan off really quick. I think I'm gonna do that by just getting in here and trying to get to it, because now the engine's 7,498 degrees. With these fence posts / radiator pipes, it's nice and warm down here. I'm able to reach them right here. I got one left. I did not untension the belt. I'm hoping that the pulley just stays in place and I could just quick put a bolt right back in, but if not, I can reach that adjustment bolt right there on the charging whirler pretty easy. But we're gonna find out right now. This is either gonna come flying off or stay put. Easy, easy. Leg is getting hot. Easy. Fan's completely off. Just by driving it up on this, I can already tell it's gonna be 160 decibels quieter. Had to wear my headphones that I wear for editing because it was just so obnoxious. Maybe I could get away with just earplugs today. I'm gonna use this tarp, lay on, because, well, you know, that. I'm gonna take the filter off, loosen the manifold, get that pulled out, and try to get to that third bolt up there on that housing filter hanger downer. See if we could tighten that up. And then I always buy filters in pairs typically, so I'm going to make sure that the seal is fine on the other one, and we'll go ahead and fill this filter up and put this new filter on, nozzle on down there, taking it off anyway, right? And then we can also see if we got any sparkle parties going on. Wee-hoo, wee-hoo. Rain delays got me about 5 hours behind. Gonna grab a quick lunch through a through drive, some fuel, and then, you know, gotta go. Can I get a double cheeseburger, plain, add mac sauce and onions? Is the McRib back?
Yes.
Guy might as well have one of those too, please.
You want to make rib? Okay, what else?
That'll do, thank you. Well, I didn't really think I fixed anything flopping around on the ground there. I didn't really see anything inconclusive. The whole side of the block was oil soaked, and of course we were driving in the rain, so everything's falling on my face. And we got new oil in it, so you can't really determine exactly where it's leaking from. Snugged everything up, put a filter back on, verified that's the right thread, pitch and depth and doodads. Now that we don't have the fan in it though, I can already tell you that oil is splattering as bad. I can also tell you that 82.793% repeating of the smoke in here is actually just blow by coming out of the front filler neck there. So nothing we could do about that. Carbon monoxide alarm, it's already been up to 32 ppm. The alarm didn't go off, but there's definitely some carbon monoxide in here. Probably why my body is sore and I feel like I'm gonna puke. But we'll keep ignoring that until this thing beeps. Gotta fill quick and then we gotta hit the road. Well, I made it like 17 miles. The Blue Devils seems to be working actually. The intake leak has slowed, if not stopped. So I stopped and got a bunch of cans of non-flammable brake cleaner, and I'm just soaking everything down, cleaning everything up now so I can keep an eye and monitor this thing. I also want to clean the manifold and the exhaust pipe off because the residual stuff kept burning. Clean all that off and we might find ourselves in a better position here in a minute.
just one in a million stars. I just wanna dance, dance.
Well, a guy made her to Macon, Georgia. Ooh, that makes me hungry for bacon. Maybe in the morning. Anyway, we got 522 miles on the rig so far. We started with 59, we're at 581 now. I'm happy with that. There's 250 miles to go. I've been taking all these back roads and stuff, so made the trip a little bit longer, but like Forrest once said, I think I'll just go home now. With all the smoke and the fumes and the oil and trying to drive with my knees touching my collarbones, that's oil, not water. Same with that seat and up here. I think, you know, I think I've had my fill for now. So I'm gonna find some different wheels to make the rest of the trip, but don't worry, that doesn't mean I'm giving up on the AMC or leaving it here in Georgia. It just means I gotta find a cheap way to push, pull, or drag this thing home, maybe haul it, I don't know. But unfortunately for you, you're gonna have to wait for part 2, because to be honest, I don't have a plan currently how to do that. If you're not subscribed, please do that. Hit that bell. I think that lets you know when there's new videos and whatnot. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it very much. We'll see you next time.